Hello, welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial, we are going to start with conditional control structures in Python. In Python, we will see that we can use four types of conditional control structures. We can use if else, we can use nested if, and we can use if ladder. If elif, and we can have else also. Now we will see these four type of conditional control structure in Python. We will start with simple if statement, and then we will see if else, nested if, and if elif ladder. We use conditional control structures when we have to take an action based on some condition. We can take different actions when the condition is true or when the condition is false. So let us first see the syntax of if statement. Let me insert a cell. Now this is the syntax of using the if statement. We give the if keyword followed by the condition. Now the one thing that is different here from other languages is that this condition is not mandatory to be given inside the parenthesis. You may give the parenthesis or you may omit the parenthesis. I would suggest that whenever you will have compound conditions, that is more than one condition, we should always use parenthesis, which is a good practice. And then we need to give the colon, and then we can specify the body which is to be executed when the given condition is true. Now here you need to give your indented block which will be executed when the given condition is true. Now why I have mentioned indented block over here, because all the statements which will be the part of this if statement, they should be indented. They cannot be at the same indent where we are having if. It should be indented, and the standard practice is to give 4 spaces to provide indent in Python. In Python, tab is different from space. So tab is not equivalent to the spaces. So ideal practice is to give 4 spaces to indent your block, and this block will be executed only if the given condition is true. So let's take an example to understand the use of if statement. So I'm just inserting a new cell. Now here we will read a number from the user and we will check whether it is even or not. Okay, so for that let's read the number from the user. We will use a variable n here in which we will store the number entered by the user. So for that we will make use of input method, and then here we will give a message enter a number. Now since we have to apply some arithmetic operation on this n, we should typecast it to int. So we are giving int here. Otherwise the value entered will be string. So we are typecasting it to int. Now the next thing that we need to do is we need to use the logic to identify whether the entered number is even or not, and we know that when we take the mod by 2, if the result is equal to 0, then the number is an even number. So same logic we will be using here. So we will use if keyword and then we will put our condition, and our condition is n mod 2 is equal to 0 and then colon. So double equal to we are using here because this is the comparison operator. Single equal to is the assignment operator, but here we need to perform comparison. So we are giving here double equals operator, which is the comparison operator. Now if this condition is true, then we need to take some action, and that action is we need to print a message that it is an even number. Now here we need to give indentation, and then we can write the code which is to be executed as a part of if. So we are using here 4 spaces, which is the standard Python approach. One thing you should keep in mind is that tab is different and spaces are different in Python. So after giving the 4 spaces, we are giving here print statement, and we want that the value of n should be displayed and a message should be there that it is an even number. Okay. Now let me run this once and then we will again discuss few things related to it. Now here you can see we are getting a message, enter a number. Let's say if I enter 4, I am getting a message 4 is an even number. So here you can see that I have not used parenthesis to give the condition. As I told you earlier that it is not mandatory to give the condition inside the parenthesis in Python. Second thing, when we are defining the body of if, we are not using any braces or any type of brackets. Instead of that, indentation is used in Python to specify the code which is inside any control structure. Now let's run this code once again. Suppose if I enter 5 here. Now you can see I'm not getting any statement as the output because we are dealing only with that part when the condition is true. We are not handling that scenario where the condition is false. Since 5 mod 2 gives us 1, so this condition is not true and we are not getting this statement executed. So whenever you want to tackle both the scenarios, that is what is to be done when the condition is true and what is to be done when the condition is false, you should use else along with if. So how we can write else? Now see, else is not inside if, so we need not to write the code here. We should go back at the location where we have given if. At the same indent we should give the else. And then again colon is required over here, and then to give the body inside the else, it should be at the same indentation where we had given the body of if. So here we will give that it is not an even number, or we can say it is an odd number. So we can say print n comma and then is a odd number. Okay, so this else part will be executed when this condition which is given with if is false. So let's run this. Let's suppose now I enter 7. Now I am getting a message that 7 is an odd number. So this is a simple example to understand how we use if else in Python. That's all for this tutorial. In next tutorial we will continue with the conditional control structures in Python. Thank you for watching this tutorial.